When you hear the name Rodney Griffin, you don't just think of a singer, you think of a servant. A man whose songs have traveled farther than he ever imagined, touching hearts in churches, camp meetings, concerts, and living rooms all across the world. And yet, behind those award-winning lyrics and unforgettable melodies is a remarkably gentle, humble soul from a quiet corner of Kentucky. Rodney was raised in Somerset, Kentucky, the son of a Baptist pastor. Some kids grow up playing ball in the backyard. Rodney grew up around choir rehearsals, revival services, and Sunday morning worship. The church wasn't just a building he attended. It was the heartbeat of his childhood. His father's sermons, preached with conviction week after week, planted seeds in Rodney's heart. He didn't know it then, but those seeds would one day become the very stories, the very lyrics that would bless millions. Rodney wasn't the type to dream of big stages or spotlights. If anything, he dreamed of serving and serving quietly. Before gospel music took center stage in his life, Rodney walked a very different path. He earned a biology degree from Berea College and worked normal, everyday jobs, landscaping, shipbuilding, the kind of work that keeps your feet on the ground and your heart humble. But music kept calling. Little by little, church groups and local quartets noticed something special in him. He carried a sincerity when he sang, a warmth in his voice, and a heart in his words that set him apart. In 1992, Rodney finally stepped into professional gospel music when he joined the Dixie Melody Boys. It was here that one of his original songs, I Have a New Song to Sing, was first recorded, a small but powerful beginning to what would become one of the most influential songwriting careers in Southern gospel history. January 1994 changed everything. Rodney Griffin officially joined Greater Vision, stepping into the baritone role and taking over bass guitar duties. But what he didn't realize was that he wasn't just joining a group, he was joining a mission. With Greater Vision, Rodney's voice grew, his writing sharpened, and his purpose unfolded. He eventually transitioned into the lead vocalist, yet he never lost the soft, humble tone that made people connect with him from the start. Most people know Rodney as the voice of Greater Vision, but many don't realize that he's also the heart behind the lyrics. Rodney has written nearly 200 songs for the group, including the powerhouse classic, My Name is Lazarus, the song that became Greater Vision's defining moment. Faces, a tender reminder that unseen faithfulness matters. Just One More Soul, a revival anthem full of urgency. Preacher, Tell Me Like It Is, a bold, truth-filled call to stand firm. What makes his writing so special? Rodney has a rare gift. He can take deep biblical truths and express them with simple, relatable, unforgettable words. His music isn't just sung, it's felt, and the world noticed. For over 20 consecutive years, Rodney Griffin was voted Songwriter of the Year by Singing News fans. That's not just an award, that's a testimony of consistency, sincerity, and God-given talent. Through the decades, Rodney's influence only grew stronger. Behind every great songwriter, there is usually a quiet support system, a small circle of people who cheer, pray, and stand by them through every mile, every late-night songwriting moment, and every ministry season. For Rodney Griffin, that circle is his beautiful family. Rodney married Regina in December of 1994, and the way God brought them together is pure sweetness. They didn't meet through a concert, a music event, or a backstage introduction. They met through Regina's pastor, who knew that these two hearts shared the same foundation: faith, humility, and a passion for serving the Lord. One simple introduction turned into a lifelong partnership. Together, Rodney and Regina built a home filled with warmth, faith, and music. And God blessed them with 2 daughters, including Victoria, who grew up watching their father write songs that would one day circle the world. Their other daughter prefers to live quietly outside the spotlight, and Rodney respects and protects that privacy with the same humility he shows everywhere else. But the blessings didn't stop there. In recent years, the Griffins stepped into a new season of joy, grandparenthood. Rodney lights up when he talks about being a grandpa. that smile, that gentle kindness you see when he sings. You see it even more when he talks about his grandchild. For him, family isn't a separate chapter, it is the foundation of his ministry. Rodney's songs often feel tender, sincere, and close to the heart. Maybe that's because the man behind those lyrics goes home to a family who keeps him grounded, encouraged, and covered in love. In 2022, he was inducted into the Southern Gospel Music Association Hall of Fame, an honor reserved only for those whose contributions changed the landscape of gospel music. In 2024, Kentucky honored their hometown hero by placing him in the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame. From small-town church pews to the Hall of Fame, that's God's grace written in bold letters. For all his accomplishments, if you ever meet Rodney Griffin, you'll meet a man who would rather talk about Jesus than talk about himself. He carries himself with a quiet, gentle humility, the kind that doesn't have to be announced. Rodney often says his songs are simply extensions of what he learned watching his father faithfully preach the gospel. Those sermons didn't just linger in his memory. They shaped his mission. Rodney writes not to impress, but to encourage. Not to entertain, but to point people toward the Savior. And that is why his songs have lasted. That is why they still move hearts today. Rodney Griffin's story is more than a musical journey. It's a reminder that God uses ordinary people in extraordinary ways. From a pastor's kid in Kentucky to one of the most decorated songwriters in Southern gospel history, Rodney continues to serve faithfully, quietly, and passionately. And with every lyric he writes, every melody he sings, he carries the same heart he had as that small boy in his father's church. A desire to honor Jesus, a desire to help someone, a desire to leave behind songs that point the world toward hope.